Well, good evening, folks. It's Real Captain Kirk here. It is the 13th of June, Sunday evening. Say we're 454 days remote, but part of that's only because we've been building out a new world headquarters here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and we hope to move in about 48 days. So again, you'll see our new super cool facility here. We'll give you a grand tour once we move in, but it's pretty awesome. Looking at a little recap here of last week, week ending 12 June on a national retail calendar. So the big map here is trends versus a year ago. So here in the U.S., we're 3.7 degrees warmer than last year, making it the #1 hottest in 36 years. So very, very hot, near record 125-year heat across the U.S. overall, much above average. Precip was about 5% drier than last year, driest in 15th driest in 36 years. So another 3 weeks in a row here, below average national precip. Up in Canada, 3.2 degrees warmer than last year, warmest in 4 years. Europe, 1.3 warmer than last year, driest in 36 years, so very dry across really the Americas and Europe. Russia, driest in 18 years. China, driest in 9 years. Down under, it's their winter, almost their winter time, coldest in 9 years. India, a little bit cooler and wetter than a year ago. And down in Brazil, again, a little bit cooler, but also, again, very dry. Still extreme drought down there. World scale, a pretty hot week. Warmest in 36 years, driest in 36 years on a national scale. Maps inset left are the trends versus average. One thing that's way up this year is obviously dry to drought phases. We had another big uptick in dry phases here. We're currently at, as of around June 8th, 61% of the country in dry to drought phases. That's the most since 2012 and the most since 2002. So if we look at those years, those were some extremely poor crop years, and we expect the same kind of conditions this year. So not looking great for the western Corn Belt, north central Corn Belt, the upper plains. So again, we think conditions as bad or worse than last year for sure. Again, this time last year, 39% of the country was in dry to drought phases, so pretty wet in that regard, and extremely wet back in 2019. So very, very different year, and again, we do expect the hot, dry summer trends to continue, again, all summer long. Looking at this week here, week ending 19 June, this is week ending, again, on Saturday. Mean temperatures versus average on this map here in the U.S., 4.5 degrees warmer than last year, making it the hottest in 27 years, second hottest in 36 years. Cool spot's going to be here in the Great Lakes Northeast. Again, a little bit of a backdoor cold front, so a little bit cooler with some 70s. We'll take it after some hot conditions. Very dry, 49% drier versus than last year, driest in 25 years for the U.S. overall, third driest in 36 years. So an extremely dry, almost wall-to-wall dry. If there's a wet spot, it might be up there in the Pacific Northwest, and we'll have to watch the Gulf Coast in Florida. Again, there is a hurricane threat, actually I should say just a tropical system threat here. National Hurricane Center is actually monitoring a couple areas for potential tropical development. Need to watch this because the models have been hinting at something in the Gulf of Mexico, potentially impacting somewhere again the north central Gulf, maybe even into Florida here in the next week or so. Again, so something to watch for now. Again, just nothing out there as of yet. Looking at next week, again, hard to believe we're getting toward the end of June here. Week ending 26 June, 0.6 degrees warmer than last year, warmest in 5 years, 8th warmest in 36 years. So warming up a bit across the east. Wet. We'll see about this. The models have been doing this quite a bit. If you believe the models back in May, we're going to have an excessively wet May, and it turned out to be quite dry. So we'll see about this. Maybe overdone for sure. 79% wetter than last year, #1 wettest in 36 years again. So we'll see about that conveyor belt of wetness there from Oklahoma into the central Appalachians. Again, TBD on all that rainfall. And again, just aggregating these for the next 2 weeks on a world scale. These are now mean temps versus average. Again, we see very, very hot in the western and central U.S. If there's a cool spot, it'll be more toward the Great Lakes Northeast. Very, very warm across Europe and Russia. Still, where people live down in Australia, still pretty cool as they go into their winter season. They've had a cool summer. Now they've had a cool fall and cool winter here. So precip maps versus average. We'll be a little bit late next week, hopefully Monday evening, Tuesday time frame. But with that, folks, we hope you have a great week. And again, we'll see you next week.